theoretical and empirical connections between physical and mental health among U.S. non-Hispanic black adults in a pandemic era, an NVivo analysis. Viral pandemics like COVID-19 are poised to remain a viable public health problem, leading to considerably higher healthcare costs, physical health and wellness challenges, and increased chronic disease in the U.S. population. Risk mitigation has been used as a strategy to prioritize and address the adverse physical health risks associated with COVID-19 public health initiatives. However, risk mitigation has also led to widespread loneliness and social isolation. Additionally, mental health disorders have been demonstrated to be directly correlated with poor disease management and treatment outcome. So, the purpose of this qualitative study was to examine perceptions related to health and well-being among individuals of African American descent in the United States. We collected data over several months and used an interpretive phenomenological analysis methodology. Respondents discussed mental health, well-being, challenges. African American individuals experienced psychological distress related to the pandemic, including feelings of coercion from needing to work even when conditions were deemed unsafe, social isolation, politicization, frustration from inconsistent news, and caregiver burnout of disabled children, among other factors adversely affecting minority populations. The findings highlight the impact of rapid changes and extreme uncertainty resulting from COVID-19, driving individual fears, grief, and apprehension among racial minority groups. As the world transitions into the vaccination phase, health practitioners will have to grapple with additional burdens faced by vulnerable populations. The purpose of this study is to explore outcomes of a survey analysis on depression and COVID. We intended to identify mental health issues important during the COVID pandemic, to understand factors that may modify the connection between physical and mental health, such as food insecurity, geographic region, crime rate, and ethnicity, and to apply a biopsychosocial model as the theoretical foundation. We also intended to create a theoretical construct as an enhancement to the biopsychosocial and life course model to inform future research on pandemics. With an intent of understanding the lived experiences, poor mental health can lead to unintended long-term consequences, such as lack of proper physical health, declines in work productivity, declines in personal productivity, declines in cognition, among others. There was a gap in the literature. Which factors impact mortality as it relates to mental health, including food insecurity, geographic region, crime rate, ethnicity, and other such factors? Sub-questions included thinking about the current coronavirus pandemic. What, if any, what are the three biggest challenges and why? Specifically thinking about the current coronavirus pandemic, what, if any, concerns did the participants have about the impact on mental well-being? And what, if anything, has helped the participants with mental well-being at this time? As a brief overview, COVID-19 is a major public health problem leading to considerably higher healthcare costs, loss of life, and other such factors in the U.S. population. COVID-19 disproportionately affects people of color, particularly Black Americans. Additionally, mental health disorders have been demonstrated to be directly correlated with poor disease management as well as outcome of treatment. In general, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, which led to COVID-19 has had and will continue to have dramatic and lasting effects on individuals as well as society. Some sectors of society have been hit worse than others, including Hispanic, non-Hispanic Black, and Indigenous Americans. This particular aspect of the study focused on non-Hispanic Black Americans. Depression is one of the most common mental health problems in the United States. It is devastating to economic productivity, to personal productivity, to relationships, and to overall well-being. It is second only to back pain as the leading cause of disability, with a lifetime prevalence of 20% in adults. It is frequently under or undiagnosed. It's frequently untreated. And add to that a dramatic shortage of mental health care providers and funding. Untreated depression is associated with greater quantity and a greater severity of physical and mental comorbidities. 326 respondents were analyzed, and that is after duplicates were removed. Here are some demographics from the entire data set. The following NVivo results are for the data set of non-Hispanic blacks only. Out of 326 respondents, about 20% were male and about 80% female. Just over 70% of the respondents were college graduates or higher. About just under 20% fell into the some college category, with a few respondents having graduated high school and very few respondents having less than a high school diploma. From the full data set, about 24.2% of individuals fell within the age range of 35 to 44, and 23.3% 45 to 54, comprising the largest number of respondents. About 18.7% fell into the 55 to 64 category, and 16.6% fell into the 25 to 34 age range, forming a relatively normal curve. It was just slightly skewed, with about 9.2% at 65 to 74, and just a few falling to the left and right of the distribution.
This slide reflects the NVivo qualitative analysis that was completed on 32 non-Hispanic Black respondents. If we go through the list, you'll see that physical activity was a concern for many individuals. Daily activities were limited due to limited activities and social gatherings during mitigation activities. Additionally, there were concerns about the number of cases. During specific times, there were increases in cases, and these rising cases were causing concern among the population. Additionally, due to anxiety, there were sleep-related issues that the population was experiencing as reflected by the responses. Also, some issues with families being vaccinated, family members seeing each other, about what types of family gatherings were allowed, were also among concerns. Finally, mental health and fatigue were all issues that were all further explored. Additional qualitative analysis highlighted some areas that were of concern for our respondents. First of all, among the non-Hispanic Black respondents, there was some concern about the liberal media. This was an attribution of the media and the information provided to being part of an ideological alignment, which is with left politics. Additionally, there was concerns about how to conduct daily life. Activities of daily living is an important measure in health outcomes and understanding health-related issues, and so this was important. Additionally, daily living concerns are oftentimes seen during times of pandemic or other types of natural disasters. Another area that indicated that the population was going under a lot of stress was the work-life balance and mental status attributed to that. Additionally, people were concerned and trying to look for ways to deal with a lot of the additional anxiety and stress that they were experiencing. Therefore, they were engaging in activities like playing music and playing sports and just trying to find ways to deal and grapple with all of this. So there were additional words that were included here, and you could kind of go through this list, but some additional aspects that were of concern are screen time, additional screen time that people were experiencing, leading to additional issues. So if you look at a lot of these, then you can see that during the time of a natural disaster or a pandemic, some of these issues are seen among minority populations. And so it is interesting as a next step from this research to compare some of these themes that are emerging in non-Hispanic Black respondents and Hispanic respondents, and comparing this to Caucasian respondents and seeing if there are concerns which are different. So in some cases, we did see that there were some emphasis on family in various minority groups, especially when we were looking at the Hispanic data set, as compared to Caucasian respondents. So these and other patterns are interesting patterns to explore in future research. This has been brought to you by myself, Sri Banerjee, and my colleague, Dr. Gary Zeroni, and then our graduate assistants, Mary Angeli Sierra and John Hoot. Thank you for listening.